everybody. Good morning. Yes. Welcome to Pi Academy, the place for mathematics and science. Dear students, in the last class, we were discussing the chapter force and laws of motion. And the last concept that we had discussed was, it is about
Law of
conservation of mass, right? No, law of conservation
momentum,
of
sir.
momentum. And before that, even we discussed about the third important law of motion, that is law of action reaction. You remember the statement?
Yes, sir.
Siddesh, you can tell the statement of Newton's third law of motion, which is also called law of action reaction. Nalpet. Newton's third law states that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? Then how to write it mathematically? If two objects like A and B, call them as A and B, they collide with each other. How do you express this mathematically using Newton's third law? The force exerted by the object A on B can be written as FAB. Similarly, force will be exerted by the object B on A can be written as FBA. And we also know that they are equal in magnitude. Don't go for writing anything. They are equal in magnitude. If it is 100 Newton, even this will second object will also exert 100 Newton of force. But these two will be in opposite direction. Hence, we will show that with negative sign. We'll write it as FAB equal to negative FBA. Next, we all know that the quantity of motion possessed by a body is nothing but
Momentum,
right? Then, if you go for considering the momentum of two bodies, we will use the plural. What is the plural? Momenta. Use the mask. Yes, it is momentum. And we have taken two situations. Moment of two bodies before collision and moment of two bodies after collision, right? And based on that, even we stated law of conservation of momentum. Do you remember that? Law of conservation of momentum. Yes. Pragati, tell the statement of law of conservation of momentum. It states that the sum of momenta of two bodies before collision is equal to the sum of momenta of two bodies after collision, provided there is no external unbalanced forces acting on them, right? Then, what is the mathematical expression for law of conservation of momentum? M1 U1 M2 U2 plus M2 V2, right? This is the mathematical expression for law of conservation of momentum. Even we had derived this equation as well. Do you remember what all the steps we have followed? Just I make you to recall. We have taken three situations. What are those?
before collision,
during collision, after collision.
So we will take two bodies. They are named as A and B. Their masses as M1 and M2. And they move with the velocity. What is the initial velocity?
U1, U2.
U1 is the initial velocity of first body. U2 is the initial velocity of second body. So now we have to assume that both the objects are moving in the same path, in the same direction. And here we can observe that the bodies are separated each other. Hence we can write before collision. Then when you assume that u1 is greater than u2, that is speed of object A is more than that of the object B, after some time, what happens? What happens?
They collide.
They collide with each other.
They
Collide with each other.
Then when they collide with each other, first object will exactly force on second object, can be written as
FAB.
second object will exactly force on first object.
FBA.
FBA.
This is during collision. Next, after collision, will there be any change in the velocities of these two bodies?
Definitely, sir.
Yes, sir.
And we will write like this. M1 moves with the velocity V1,
And V2.
object B of mass M2 moves with the velocity
V2.
V2. This is after collision. Then after that, we found out the sum of momenta of two bodies before collision. Just tell that.
M1 U1
M1 U1
plus
M2
U2.
That is the sum. Then before that, we found out the momenta of each body before collision as well as after collision. What is the momenta of first body?
M1 U1
M1 U1.
M2 U2,
After collision. First body,
M1 V1
M1 V1,
second body.
M2 V2.
Shreyas, are you following? Shreyas, are you following? Shreyas MH. Unmute your audio first. Unmute your audio, Shreyas. Then how do you write the rate of change of momentum of body A?
M1 V1
M1
minus
V1 minus
M1 U1 by T.
M1 U1 by T.
Minus M1 U1 by T. This rate of change of momentum is nothing but the force exerted by first body on second body. This can be written as
FKB.
FE. On what basis it has been written?
Second law of motion.
Second law.
Next, what is the rate of change of momentum of second body?
V2.
M2 V2 minus M2 V2 by T.
By
This
T.
is the force exerted by second body on first body.
First body.
No. According to Newton's third law of motion, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And we have written that is FAB is equal to minus FBA. Then we substituted FAB. It is M1 V1 minus M1 U1 by T is equal to minus it is M2 V2 minus M2 U2
V2.
by T. T and T get cancelled. Then M1 V1 minus M1 U1. This is
Minus M.
Minus M2 V2.
it is minus M2 V2 minus plus
Plus.
M2 U2. Then on shuffling, here M1 V1 is here. Transfer this plus M2 V2. Next, transfer this. M1 U1 plus M2 U2. This can be rewritten as M1 U1 plus M2 U2 equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. So this is the law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. Right? I think this much was discussed in the last class. Repeatedly, I have been telling that this is an important derivation to be asked in the examination. Along with the statement, they may ask you to derive this. So yesterday only you might have practiced that. Today, just to make you to recall the steps, once I given. But will you write like this only? No. And you will
No,
detail
sir.
it step
No, sir.
only. You have to follow those steps only. I've written these only for the sake of explanation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in today's class, we are moving to solve the problems of law of conservation of momentum. And I had already given you the hint that with respect to this law of conservation of momentum, we have three important situations. Could you tell? Let me ask Sarthak Hardy. Three important situations related to the law of conservation of momentum. Ritu, you can tell. Tanmay, you can also try. One is what?
Bullet
is
fired.
fired from the gun. Gun. Bullet is fired from the gun. For that situation, we'll use this law of conservation of momentum. Second important
Rocket.
situation-
Rocket.
Rocket.
Launching of
Hockey
rocket.
players.
You-
Hockey players.
Rocket.
Hockey players.
Launching from the
Very good. Hockey players.
And a girl jumping on the
Players will
skateboard.
be moving one behind the other, or they may come towards each other. When they come towards each other, or when one player is moving behind the other, then they may collide after some time. When they collide, they entangle. So that situation. Next, third one is
boy jumped in the
They're jumping on
Very
Jumping on the skateboard.
girl jumps on the cart wheel. Then after jumping, both will move together, right? So these are the important problems with respect to law of conservation of momentum. Now let me go for giving you these one by one. And again, I am reminding you in the examination point of view, either derivation will be given or any one problem will be given. According to the rule given by the CBSE. Either we have to give the derivation or we have to give one problem on law of conservation of momentum. Yes, right. Scientific. Numerical problems. Numerical problems. Right. Numerical problem. Let's start writing with me. First one is right. A bullet of mass 20 gram. Wait. Barcometer.
No, sir.
Have you written?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Written.
Okay. Again, Barcometer. Right.
Yes.
Please put star mark. Double star mark. It was given in the examination. A bullet of mass 20 gram. A bullet of mass 20 gram. 20 gram is horizontally fired. Is horizontally fired. With a velocity 150 meter per second. With velocity 150 meter per second. from a pistol of mass 2 kg. From pistol of mass 2 kg. What is the recoil velocity of the pistol? Recoil velocity of the pistol. Don't go for writing anything. First, you have to understand this. Only for the sake of understanding, I am drawing the figure. Even for your necessity in Allah. What it is?
AK-47.
Figure. And here is the bullet. There are two situations with respect to given state. Could you tell what are those?
Action and
one situation is before firing, and another situation is
After firing.
after firing. Here. Could you tell what is this? This is the bullet. Wait. And what it is?
Muzzle of pistol.
Pistol. This is bullet and this is pistol, right? Before firing, what is the state of these two?
Rest, sir.
At rest.
What is the initial velocity of the bullet?
0.
0.
Initial velocity of the pistol?
0.
Both are 0.
Now the trigger is to be pressed. What happens? The
Bullet is fired.
comes from the muzzle of the pistol. That is, a bullet is fired from the pistol. This is the bullet. You're following. When the bullet moves forward, then immediately the pistol recoils. You your hand just it comes hit back. It is because of the recoil velocity of the pistol. Now come to the statement. See that a bullet of mass 20 gram, mass of the bullet is 20 gram, is horizontally fired with a velocity 150 meter per second from a pistol of mass 2 kg. Mass of the pistol is 2 kg. Then what is the recoil velocity of the pistol? Could you tell what does 150 meter per second indicate?
Final velocity.
Final velocity.
They will get the velocity after firing. So, this is, can we consider the final velocity of the bullet? Initial velocity when it was at rest, it is 0. Now, after firing,
Yes,
it
sir.
takes a velocity of 150 meter per second. Then we have to find out the recoil velocity. The recoil velocity of the pistol, that is final velocity of the pistol.
meaning of recoil, sir.
Did you understand? Very good. Fahim,
Sir, meaning of recoil.
recoiling means moving backward. Yes, you will start writing with it. How many items are given? 2 items. Which are those?
2. Gun bullet.
Gun and bullet.
Pistol. So, Andage, I'll write these one by one. Right, data.
You have to write diagram also, sir.
No need. Situation explain ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು diagram ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. You no need to go for drawing. Just write data only. First, with respect to
Okay, sir.
bullet. With respect to bullet. What is its mass? 20 gram. I take the mass of the bullet as M1. M1 equal to 20 gram. See that, is it in the Same system of unit?
No, sir.
No, sir.
0.02 kg.
0.02 kg.
kg. So it is 20 by
1000.
1000 kg. 0.02. Don't worry. Calculation easy one. 1 by 50 kg. Then what is its initial velocity? 0. Why? Before firing it was at rest only. 0 meters per second. What is its final velocity? Nothing but velocity after
150 meter per second.
per second.
moves with 150 meter per second. It is V1. V1 equal to 150 meter per second. Value ನೋಡಿ 150 meter per second. Just to 1 second a day, it covers a distance of 150 meter. Next, it is pistol. Let me take the mass of the pistol as M2. Do you know what is the mass of the pistol?
2 kg.
2 kg.
2 kg. Next, ಇದು already SI unit ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. What is its initial velocity? 0 meter per second. Before firing, even pistol was also at rest. Then, what is its final velocity?
This only you have to find out, sir.
How do you go for finding?
By using law of conservation.
By using the law of conservation of momentum. Now, after writing this much, now you will write here calculation by the law of conservation of momentum. The law of conservation of momentum. The law of conservation of
Excuse me, sir.
momentum. Yes, yes.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Momentum we have to conserve, or naturally it will conserve, sir.
Naturally, it gets conserved.
Sir, I also have a doubt, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Nothing is colliding, so how can we take that law of conservation of momentum?
All right, once you tell.
Sir, there nothing is being collided, no, sir. How can we take the law of conservation of momentum, sir?
Gun and pistol and bullet is
See, law of conservation of momentum, don't think that it is applicable only when the bodies collide with each other. It is just only for the sake of explanation, we had taken the collision. But here what we are taking, according to the situations, we'll go for, see, it is before firing, after firing. And similarly, with respect to the girl who jumps on the cartwheel, there will take the situation before jumping and after jumping. Got it? When the two persons collide with each other, before collision, after collision. Like this, we'll go for taking the situations. Got it? Advekar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. By the law of conservation of momentum, I'll write M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. Written up. Substitution is very important. Let me tell you how to substitute. Please stop writing. Many students will go for substituting like this. First M1, I will observe. Next U1, they will go for substitute. Then M2, the best method of substitution, let me teach you now. First, I'll go for taking the values of M1 and M2. What is M1? 1 by 50. M2?
1 by 50.
2 kg.
Okay. It is 1 by 50 into plus 2 into Then 1/50 into plus 2 into. First M1, M2 substitute. Now I'll go on to U1, U2. 0, 0, 0,
0.
0. V1, V2. 150.
0.
Unknown. 150. And this is V2 as it is. Here, observe 1s are 3s are 0 plus 0, 0. Then minus 3. It's equal to 2V2. Did you understand? Then what is V2?
Minus 3.
Minus 3 by 2.
Minus 3 by 2 is nothing but
1 point.
Minus
Minus 1
1.5
by 1
meter per
second.
So the recoiling velocity of the pistol is
Minus 1.5.
very good, 1.5 meter per second. What does minus sign indicate?
It's in
It is moving in
Opposite
the
it's the opposite direction.
Opposite direction of the bullet.
That is backward movement of the pistol. Copy this. First to substitute M1 and M2. Then substitute U1 and U2. 0, 0. V1, V2, 150. Then V2 is unknown. You write this as. Then write. Conclusion. Therefore, the recoiling velocity of pistol is 1.5 meter per second. 1.5 meter per second. Can you start? Now let me give you another one. And this was given in the examination as well. It is also there in your textbook as well. Right. Can I give? Second. And for this also you have to put double star. Two objects of masses. Two objects of masses 100 grams and 200 grams are moving along the same line. Are moving along the same line. Same line. And direction. Same direction. This right. And direction. With velocities. With velocity 2 meter per second and 1 meter per second respectively. 2 meter per second and 1 meter per second respectively. Full stop. Now you tell that whether they collide each other or not after some time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jagnur is telling yes. Rachit is telling yes. What about others? They won't collide.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The meaning of this is the path on which the two objects are moving. This is its mass is 100 gram and its mass is 200 grams. And they are moving along the same line, in the same direction. Now, with the different velocities, first one will move in 2 meters per second. Second one will move in 1 meter per second, which is moving faster.
First one.
First one.
First one.
is moving faster. As they are moving in the same line
They will
and in the same direction,
They will collide.
they collide after some time. Definitely. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ obviously it will collide with second object. Then
Sir,
after
mass-
collision, the velocity changes. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Let me give you the same. Right. They collide. They collide. They collide after some time. And after collision, the first object moves with the velocity 1.67 meter per second. Full stop. Determine the velocity of second object. Determine the velocity of second object. Now you tell that, is it not simple?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Here also we have two situations. In the first problem only, we had two situations. One was before firing, second one was after firing. But either
for collision
First
after
object, second object.
right. Data. Get it?
First object.
Object 1, object 2. Angadra barkodi. Or else first object, then second object. However you want. Here I'm right. Object 1. Object 1. I take its mass as M1. How much? Just that. 100 grams.
100
This is the unit.
1 by 10
No,
kg.
sir.
Very good. 100 by 1000 kg. 20 get cancelled. 1 by 10. Ange barkodi. Decimal form name beda. Because if you write in fractional form, it will be easy for calculation. Then what is its initial velocity?
2 meter per second.
Yes, it is moving with a velocity of 2 meter per second. You can write it as u1 equal to 2 ms raised to the power minus. Then see that after collision, the velocity of the first object is
1.67 meter per second.
v1 is equal to 1.67 meter per second. This is all about first object. Now let me go for taking second object. Object 2. Yes. Mass of second object, it is M2. How much it is?
200 gram.
200 gram million. Right. Very good.
5 kg.
1 by 5.
Very good. Very good. 200 by 1000 kg. 20 get cancelled. It is 1 by 5 kg. What is its initial velocity? With what
1
velocity?
meter per second.
1 meter.
1 meter per second. Correct. After collision, it moves with some velocity we do not know. You call it as v2. Again, use the law of conservation of momentum. by the law of conservation of momentum. Written up. Then below that, you write this form. M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. Substitute. First M1
Yes,
M2.
sir.
M1 1 by 10, M2 1 by 5. So 1 by 10 into 1 by 5 into, it's equal to 1 by 10 into plus 1 by 5 into. Next, U1, U2. U1, 2, U2, 1. Here, 2, 1. Substitution will be easier if you write like this. Next, V1, V2. V1,
1.67.
1.67. Then V2 is unknown. You get it?
2 1 the 2 5 are.
Will you write it in decimal form?
1
2
by
by 10
5.
0.
1 by 5.
Sir, it will become 1 by 5.
1 by 5.
Third
2
fraction
by
form.
5. 2 by 5.
Sir, answer 2 by 5.
1 by 5, 1 by 5.
2 by 5.
2
2
by
by
5.
5.
It is equal to this is.
Sir, 1.67 is 1.6 bar, sir.
0.167 will become.
1 by 10 ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Convert this decimal into fraction. 167
By 100.
100.
plus V2 by 5. Then 2 by 5. It is 167 by
100.
1000.
1000. Whole into 5.
100 into 10. It's equal to V2 by 5. Mostly in decimal form ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ easy ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Is it not? It's not.
0.167 divided by 10.
No, sir.
2 by 5 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it is 0.4,
0.4, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Minus this is 0.167.
167.
It is equal to V2 by 5.
232.
Subtract it.
0.163.
10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 1, 2. 0.233. Understood? Okay. Okay. 0.4, 0.167. Subtract 1. 10 minus 7, 3. 9 will remain. 9 minus 6, 3. 3 will remain. 3 minus 1, 2. 0.
230.
0.233. That's equal to V2 by 5. We want V2. V2 equal to 0.233 into 5. Cross multiply.
65.
5 3s are 50. Carry on. 5 3s are 15 plus 1 16. Carry on. 5 2s are 10 plus 1 11. Carry on. 1.165. Wait, let me check the answer. Correct. V2 is equal to 1.165 meter per second. Then conclusion. The velocity of the second object after collision is right. Therefore, the velocity of second object or object is 1.165 meter per second. Okay, start.
Yes, sir.
Next. We are moving to third one. This is very important one. As I said, we'll go for taking the next situation, that is a girl jumps on the carpet. Shall I repeat?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Third one, please put double star mark for this. Right. A girl of mass 40 kg. A girl of mass 40 kg jumps with a horizontal velocity. Jumps with a horizontal velocity. Horizontal velocity of 5 meters per second. Of 5 meters per second. To a stationary car. Or to a stationary car. Stationary car with frictionless wheels. With frictionless wheels. Full stop. The mass of the cart is the mass of the car is 3 kg. Full stop. What is her velocity? What is her velocity? What is her velocity? As the car starts moving. As the car starts moving. You may start. Please observe. Hope that you have understood while writing only. Chandana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Namit, Tushar. Namit, Artagila. Okay. I'll tell that. Look at the board. I'm just taking a card to you. And girl observe once you go through the statement. A girl of mass 40 kg. What is her mass? 40
40 kg.
She jumps with a horizontal velocity of 5 meters per second. She would jump
V1.
with a speed of 5
5
meters per second. The mass is 40 kg and she jumps with a velocity of 5 meters per second. That it shows she has some momentum. She of 5 meters per second onto a stationary car. This is the car which is at rest. What is its initial velocity?
0.
0.
0 meter per second. A cart with a frictionless wheel. The mass of the cart is 3 kg.
3 kg.
3 kg. 3 kg. Then what is her velocity as the cart starts moving? when she jumps on the car, ಈಗ ಈ ಕಾರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊ. Now she is on the car after jumping. After jumping, whether both will move together or one after the other.
They move
Move
together.
together.
That means, can we say that velocity of cart is
Is
equal
same.
to velocity of the gun?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
V1 and V2 will be
Same.
same.
Equal.
It will be equal.
Yes, sir.
So now we have to find out these. Any one of these two ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is enough for the required state. Yes, you must start writing it. Namit, understood? Right. Done. Which are the two items that are given?
Girl and
Girl
car.
and car.
Cart. Cart. Right. First, girl. What is her mass?
40
40 kg.
So it is the SI unit, no problem at all. Next. What is the initial velocity?
5 meter per second.
5 meter per second.
She jumps with the velocity of 5 meter per second. Astu velocity inda adra ಮೇಲೆ jump ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Next. What is our final velocity?
Unknown.
Unknown.
Found out. And second item is car. What is the mass of the car?
3 kg.
3 kg.
3 kg. Right. What is its initial velocity?
0.
Because
0.
it jumps on the cart which was
It is the
at
rest, sir.
rest. U is 0 meter per second. And sorry, V2
V2 unknown.
Unknown,
calculate. Wait. By law of conservation of somebody. Before that, we have to write one sentence. You know that as she jumps on the car, both will move together. Therefore, V1 is equal to V2. You can
V2.
consider that as X, Y, Z, whatever the letter you
Only
want. Right. When the girl jumps on the car, both
They move together.
together with the same speed. Another just both move together. Therefore, velocity of gun is equal to velocity of the car. Let us assume this as x. X is the term. Our substitution is easy. Anush, are you understanding? Tanmay, did you understand? Okay. And Tanusha? Yes. Okay. Then Galaxy M1 too. Yes. Very good. Now you were right. By the law of conservation of momentum, by the law of conservation of momentum, by the law of conservation of momentum, right? M1U1 plus M2U2 equal to M1V1 plus M2V2. Vijay, have you written? I'm okay. Have you written? Then go for substitution. Right. First you substitute M1 and M2. M1 is 40 kg, M2 is 3 kg. Right. 40 into plus 3 into equal to 40 into plus 3 into.
3 into.
Substitute U1, U2. U1 is 5,
5 meter per second. 5.
0. 5, 1, 0.
0.
What is V1?
X.
V2. That is also X. Let us go for calculation. 45 is 200.
200.
200.
0.
0. 200.
200.
40x plus 3x.
43.
43.
43x.
4.65.
205.
43.
4.65 becomes
4.
4.65 meter per second.
200 by 40. And here, 4 is the 5 is the 100. It will be more than 200.
172.
4 44 is 150.
172.
170.
20.
20.
Point.
This one.
Point. 6 the.
6.
6. No problem is still. No.
Have a class.
258.
5 is 6.
6.
5 is
Sir, 6.
Sir.
6 the, sir.
43 into 6,
258.
4 6.
258.
258.
6.
258.
Pizza.
How much it is?
258.
258.
258.
22.
22.
5.
Pizza.
5.
5 will come. Correct.
215.
215.
215.
Enough.
215.
After this, 2 digits are enough. Right. X is equal to 4.6 meter per second. Write that in the conclusion. Therefore, the velocity of a gun as the cart starts moving. The velocity of a gun as the car starts moving is 4.65 meter per second.
Sir, is it necessary to write in decimal only, sir?
Oh, yeah. Because possibilities are there, no? That is what. Over.
Yes, sir.
Next one. This is also important one. Right. Shall I repeat?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
to further work for this also. Right. Fourth one is a bit lengthy statement. Two hockey players of opposite teams. Two hockey players of opposite teams. Opposite teams. Put comma. While trying to hit a hockey ball on the ground. While trying to hit a hockey ball on the ground. Collide and immediately become entangled. Collide. and immediately become entangled. Full stop. One has a mass of 60 kg. Now these two players, first player has a mass of 60 kg and was moving with a velocity 5 meters per second and was moving with a velocity 5 meters per second. While the other, this second player, while the other has a mass of 55 kg. 55 kg and was moving with a velocity 6 meters per second towards the first player. Full stop. That first sub question, right? In which direction they move after entangling? Did you understand this? Entangling ಅಂದ್ರೆ collide ಆಗೋದು okay, of course, but entangling means
After collision moving, sir.
after collision they'll move. ಈಗ after collision ಅವರು ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ.
Which one?
That is what we say the entangling. And second sub question, with what velocity they move after they become entangled? With what velocity? With what velocity they move after entangling? Good question. Another important thing is whatever the frictional force will be acting, it is negligible for both the players.
What happens, sir, if frictional force is not negligible?
If frictional force is not negligible, then where the frictional force will be more, then he will be standing more. He will be standing stiff. So they find it hard to move. So that is why they have considered frictional force for both the players. It is negligible. It has some frictional force, but it is negligible as they are moving. Did you understand the situation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The situation. Yes. Here it is situation. So this statement is related to which situation? Hockey.
Hockey.
Hockey. Is it Indian game or?
Yes, sir.
It's a national game of India.
National game, sir. Indian national game.
National game of our country, not India, our country. national game of our country. And this time in Olympics also, we have achieved a lot, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Bronze medal. Men's bronze, sir.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 40.
Observe here in with respect to this game, here we have considered two players, alva? And let us name them as player 1 and player 2. Let us call them as player 1 and player 2. Separate. This is the graph. Here is a hockey player. Unappa, battle sticker, hockey sticker there. Then I'm drawing girl picture only. The reason
To differentiate.
more achievement from girls only. Alva?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are the two players. Go through this. Two hockey players is player 1 and she is player 1, she is player 2. Hockey players of opposite team. Opposite team ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? Okay. Opposite teams while trying to hit a hockey ball on the ground. Hockey ball on the ground. They collide and immediately become entangled. One has a mass 60 kg. Let us take the mass of first player as 60 kg. 60 kg. And was moving with a velocity 5 meters per second. And the other has 55 kg and was moving with a velocity 6 meters per second. Now you tell that which of these two players are moving with a greater momentum.
Second, sir. Second.
Second player, sir. 55.
Red team.
Dhanush, how did you decide? Huh? Oh, sorry. Velocity of second player is more. That's why.
No, sir.
You did not.
Sir, her weight is
Yeah.
also.
Sir,
Ah,
60 into
velocity.
5, 300.
55 is up.
16 to 5.
300.
300, sir.
Then 55
330.
330, sir.
330. So second player has more momentum.
So second player has
More
greater
momentum.
More.
So that is why when they collide with each other, who will exert more force?
Second
Second
player.
player.
Second body. Second player.
Second player will exert more force on the first player,
First player.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And after collision, they start moving. They move towards first or towards second.
First one, sir.
Towards
First.
first. Towards first.
Exerted more
Right
force
to
than
left.
first player. Hence, after entangling, they move to the left side in this situation. Left side and right towards first player. In which direction they move after entangling? Yes.
Towards left. First player.
Right to left.
Towards
The
first
direction
player.
of second player.
First
Alva.
player. First player, sir.
First player.
First player, sir. First player.
In the direction of first player or towards first
Towards the
player.
first player.
Next, with what velocity they move? Entangling. Then after entangling, we should come to know their velocities. Alva, what is the velocity of first player? After entangling?
Unknown.
None.
Yes. Velocity of second player after entangling?
Unknown, sir.
He's also yes,
Unknown,
sir.
sir. Yes. It's
We can take
Five.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Equal to
after
Five.
entangling, they move together. so that their velocities will be same.
Same,
Same.
sir.
Same.
Taken as X. Got it?
Yes, sir.
You go for right. Drop your way. Just what you have to write. Yes.
Data.
Information. Right. Data.
Sir, their physical speed may be different. Sir.
What? Samartham V. Are you in the
Yes, sir.
class? Are you in study room or bedroom? ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. He was anning. Right. Player 1. Player 1. Just remember, what is the mass of player 1? 60 kg.
60 kg.
And what is the velocity with which she was, sorry, she is
5 meter per
5 meter per second. Then velocity after entangling, do not. V1 is question mark. Next, player 2.
55 kg.
M2 55 kg.
Kilogram.
Q2
6 meter per second.
V2 is
Unknown.
very good. ಏನ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು?
X, sir. Take it as X.
V1 is equal to V2 is equal to X.
V1 and V2 is equal to X.
ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ we have
So
two
when the
supposed-
players
By the law of
collide,
conservation of momentum.
they come together.
Momentum is equal. By the law of conservation of momentum.
After
The
entangling, they
players,
move together.
sir, yes.
A. After entangling, both the
move
players
together.
will
Move
move
together.
together.
Therefore,
Uh,
V1 is equal to V2 is equal to X.
Player 1 or player 1 side. ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೂ ಬರೀ. Right. After entangling, both the players together move on the side of first player. ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ರೀಸನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು.
Momentum
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ತದೆ.
exerted by second body is more.
Reason ಬರಲ್ಲ. Because with calculation only we shall show that. Momentum of first player. Momentum of first player. So player 1. It is. M1 U1 it is equal to 60 into 5. It is 300 kg meter per second. Then momentum of ಇದು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ P1
330 kg meter per second.
of second player it is M2
330 kg
V2.
meter per second.
It's equal to 55 into 6, 330 kg meter per second. P2 is this part. Compare. P2 is greater than P. P2 is greater than P. In which, if they give the question like this, in which direction they move after entangling, explain with the calculation. First you do the calculation, then you can go for that. Next, V1 we should move on to calculation. I'll rub it. Now you tell.
Sir, in the momentum of second player, it's M2, U2, sir, you have written V2. In the momentum of second.
Please tell loudly. I'm not able to hear your
Sir, in momentum of second body, you have written M2 V2. It should be M2 U2.
Okay, now let's go on to the second one. Just tell what sentence should be written.
After
By law of
entangling.
conservation
What?
of momentum.
After entangling, right? Velocities of both the players will be equal. Will be equal after entangling. In school, if they are solved in any different method, please tell me. I'll clarify that also. What, Rachit? Why? The law of conservation of momentum. Siddesh, tell this quickly. M1, U1, very good. U2 equal to M1 V1 plus
M2 V2.
Substitute. First, I'll substitute M1 and M2. M1 is to 60 and 55. 60 into plus 55 into, it's equal to 60 into plus 55 into. Then U1, U2.
5 meter per second and 6 meter per second.
5 and 6. 5 and 6. V1, V2.
Unknown X.
V1 equal to V2 equal
X.
to right. 65 is up. 300
300.
plus 330 plus
90. 105X. 115X.
115. You are telling different mathematics. 150 x. Okay. Now this is 630. Very good. Then x equal to 630 by 150.
5.47.
Wait, 1 minute, 1 minute. Again, they are coming in the opposite direction. Just 1 minute. Everything is same only, nothing to worry.
Minus 55.
Here, player 2 is moving in the direction opposite to the player 1. See, the player 1 is coming from left to right and player 2 is coming from right to left. That is why its velocity should be considered as
Minus.
negative. So U2 is a negative one. This is negative. Then this will be minus 330. Now this will be minus 30. X equal to minus 30 by 150. This you can calculate. 5, 6 are, then 5 2s are, 3s are. 6 by 23. 6, divide this by 23. Put decimal. 16. 23 2s are, 46. Then 14 will remain. It will be 140. System
6.
23
6.
6 or 7 are 6 are 6 3s are 18, carry 1, 6 2s are 12 plus 1 13.
253.
Minus 0.26. Right. X equal to minus 0.26. Now, conclusion. Therefore, after entangling, both the players will move with the speed of 0.26.
0.26 meter per second.
Therefore, after entangling, come on, both the players move with the velocity of 0.26 meter per second. 0.26 meter per second. Written up. Yes. Actually, all the problems given in the textbook, it is over. And in tomorrow's class, we are going to discuss the exercise questions as well as the blue box questions given in NCERT textbook. So while coming tomorrow, please read and come so that we can go for even discussion also. And no, one more information for you all. This Thursday, you'll not be having online performance test. That is MCQ test will not be there. Instead, on that day, I'll go for conducting periodic test 2, science periodic test 2, evening from 6 to 7:30 on Thursday. Please do remember. So with this, let us stop the class.
Sir, then on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.